Hi, welcome back to Olivia's Mindful Gardens and Plants. Lots to do. It's a bank holiday weekend and I have a number of plants that need to be placed in their final position. On previous videos I've shown you my dahlias that are in their temporary pots that need to go into their final pots, so I'm going to be doing that. And I've also got some young seedlings that also need to go in these pots too. So there's quite a few things I need to do. I'm not actually sure how much I will get through today. I work full time, so the only time I have in my garden is weekends and after work in the evenings. So I'm keen to get on. I will show you all the little things that I have to do and I will see how much I can get through over the next couple of days. I'll put everything together and then share this with you, just so that you can see maybe how long little things take to do to get all together. It's well worth it though. I absolutely have such a passion for flowers and plants, and although it's a lot of work, the rewards are just amazing. Every time I come into my garden, it's just such, I can't explain it sometimes. It's the mind just really relaxes. I forget about all the stresses and strains of anything that's going on at work, and it's just a wonderful thing to just take a couple of minutes every day. Walking around your garden is enough to kind of refresh people. So I'm going to show you all the things I have to do and then put the video together as one whole piece, to see whether or not you get a kind of an idea of the work that goes into getting a garden together. And I keep saying the word work. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like a pleasurable thing to do, because at the end, when I do take the time out to sit down and actually look around or have a cup of tea and walk around the garden, the rewards are so worth it. From the smallest project to the biggest projects, every last bit of it put together gives you such joy. So let's get to it. Okay, so I have all these dahlias to put into pots. Just to remind you, all of these. I've also got the salvia amnestad that I've been growing over the winter, and I've also taken some cuttings at the back of the amnestad. Equally, they'll be ready to go out in a couple of weeks, so I'll leave those ones and concentrate on the larger ones that need to go into the border and maybe into some pots. I've got all these pots that need attention. So these are my Cannas. I had them in the house for a long time, and since I've been hardening them off outside, they don't look great. So I'm going to cut these right back, repot them, refresh, and probably put them somewhere a bit more sheltered so the wind doesn't start breaking up the leaves. Okay, so these are all the plants that I have to place in pots. Realistically, I don't think I'm going to be able to do all of these today, but I'm going to give a good go at it and see how much I can do. Some of these I can leave another week, I think, to plant out. Okay, so here we are, all the pots ready to be planted into. I have some hanging basket type pots at the top there. I have normal pots that go onto my patio. I'm going to remove all these plants which need to maybe go in their own pots, and in a couple of weeks they'll rejuvenate and I will put them somewhere else. All of these need to be removed, and that's purely so that I can get the dahlia right in the middle and then build around it. I've got the bedding plants and fuchsias and so forth to put in that pot there. I typically remove as much of the soil as possible, redistribute, put the old soil at the bottom of empty pots, and then plant some fresh soil on top. So it seems like a a lot to do, but once you get started with one, the others then follow quite quickly after. Okay, one thing worth saying, when you empty out a pot that you've had out for a long time, if there is, or if you find lots of ants at the bottom, that's usually because there is a colony growing in the pot. Now, ordinarily, not a huge problem out in the garden, but what I have found over the years is that they harvest weevils, or they eat the weevils in their nest, and it's just becomes overrun. So this compost here that's come out of this pot, I will not be using. I will take them to my allotment, where I have a big area that I put old soil in, and over time, when everything decomposes, I will reuse the soil. It's not worth throwing away perfectly good soil if you have somewhere to put it. So you can see all the ants are coming out now that I've disturbed their nest. So I'm going to put this to one side, and as I said, I will take all of this up to my allotment in the next couple of days. Okay, so this is the first pot. I have put the tallest dahlia in this pot here, and I've surrounded it all the way around with bedding plants and some fuchsias in there as well, so the bottom looks just as pretty as the top. So that's the first one done. I've got all the other pots now to do. Just wanted to show you the root ball from this dahlia. It's amazing how quickly these plants grow. So I'm going to pop this one up, and I might try and squeeze in some salvia amnestad with this one, because I think the overall effect will be really pretty. The only risk is that I don't know what colour this dahlia is. So the amnestad, the salvia amnestad, is like a deep sort of purple colour. So I think it will really clash if it's a colour like a yellow or a red. It won't look great, but life is about chances sometimes, and it would be great just to see how it turns out, like a surprise. Okay, so I've done a number of pots. There's one here. I have placed 3 dahlias in this central pot, and I've taken some of the other plants that I had from last year in, so fuchsia there, some trailing plants there that I've added. This one's Mumbo, Crazy Love and St Martin, so I'm hoping they're I think white with purples and pinks, so that group there should look quite nice together. This pot is the one where I don't know what colour dahlia this one is. I have just put some trailing plants here, sweet pink, and just see the ticket, sweet pink, hot pink, whites all the way around, so that would look quite nice trailing. I've got some spare plants from other pots that I've dug up. I have done this trough which goes into a window box. I have done this pot with some trailing bedding plants here, and some lavender. So I've still got this pot, and this one, and this one. Okay, let's see how I get on. Okay, so I've had a couple of hours now getting all the dahlias into the pots. So I thought I'll just give you a quick once around just to show you what I've done so far and what's left to do. Now I'm slowly losing light. The clouds have come over, so I think that will be it for today, bar giving everything a good water. So I have decided to put a number of dahlias together because they were single stemmed, or I thought maybe on its own in such a big pot it wouldn't do very well. Some of the pots I have placed some bedding plants around so that they can trail over the side to make it look pretty. I have put 4 dahlias here. Now that's because most of them, as I said, were singular. And I've put a salvia amnestad in the middle. Now the amnestad can grow up to a metre, if not more, depending. So I'll keep an eye on it and see how it goes. I could always take them out, pot them somewhere else, not a problem. This one is the unknown dahlia. So if you've watched any of my previous videos, this is the one that had a large tuber of an unknown dahlia that came from a single dahlia seedling. And the other one is this tall one here. That was the biggest dahlia there. So I have got now some spare plants, so some daisies that were growing in a pot. I've still got this pot to clear up. I have completed this window box, which I will put in its place in a little while. And of course I have done this hanging pot as well. Cleaned up some plants here that I had in the original pots. Okay, so at the beginning of the video I did show you all my plants that I had on this little shelving unit. I've reduced, I think, by half. I've added some that have been hardening off onto the shelf. So overall, when I show you this box here, these are all the pots that I had the dahlias in, along with some of the bedding pots. So I think this is a good way to know how much I've actually planted in the permanent pots. These are the last 5 pots. I didn't have time to do these today as I've run out of light. I've had a really good afternoon with the dahlias, so I will have to leave these 5 pots for another day. Hello and welcome back. So it's now Monday, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It has been raining non-stop all day in London and the southeast, because I did go out earlier today. And I have probably another hour or so before I lose the light and have to go in, of course, and do other things around the house. So I'd like to take this canna out, put it in the soil, and I also have these pots to condense and hopefully have some pots left over for some other dahlias that I have growing in the house. Okay, so the canna is now out of its pot and I've placed it next to one that I previously moved from a pot. It's doing okay. It has got some growth here. I've just got to cut away some of these old leaves. They're quite tender, but hopefully over the winter they should survive if I maybe put some mulch on top. This one that's just come out of the pot has got a new shoot growing there, so hopefully this one will do well at the back of the garden. Okay, so I had 3 pots with the Canna Cleopatra, these 3 here. I have a slightly bigger pot here, so I'm going to attempt to put all the 3 into one pot, this bigger one here. the soil is so wet, I've decided to just mix some perlite into the soil to just let the soil drain a lot better in these pots. So the Cleopatra here has got some growth. There we are. And another bit of growth there. So although they look pretty much like sticks at the moment, they will come back and hopefully have beautiful variegated leaf like this one. Okay, there you go. 3 pots now spare, and 1 larger pot with 3 Canna Cleopatra. So that's another job done. Okay, so something that wasn't on the list of things to do was to pot up these gingers. So I've had these in the house all through winter. They were very small when I first bought them, probably less than 2 inches. So over the winter, this is how much they have grown. Quite about 30 centimetres, probably a bit more, and the 2 smaller ones. Now, I've never grown gingers before, or the ginger plant, and what I might do, and I may be doing something wrong, I don't know, I haven't researched it. I'm just going to put all those 3 plants probably in this larger pot. I'll have a look over the summer just to see how much room they need, and if they need to then pot into another pot, then I will do so. But sometimes it's better to condense 3 pots into 1 larger pot, otherwise you will have so many small pots, and my deck is not large enough for so many pots, especially as I've gone a bit dahlia crazy this year, and I think I would just like to have more dahlias rather than 3 little pots of something. Okay, I've removed the larger ginger, and I can now see how much roots this plant has. So I will just put the larger plants into the larger pot and place the 2 smaller ones into this pot. So I've condensed 3 into 2. So I'm slowly getting rid of all these pots, because I think, judging from that, I know they do grow quite vigorously once they get the warmth of summer, when it finally arrives. So I think it's probably better that I put them in larger pots. Okay, so that's it for today. I have potted up quite a few dahlias and some bedding plants in all these pots here. Here we are. So I have planted some gingers into these 2 pots and the Canna Cleopatra. So these are my last 2 remaining pots, and I think I will try really hard to put them maybe in 1 pot, or just repot them with fresh soil, give them a tidy up and see how it goes. So thank you so much for joining me today. I do hope you've enjoyed this video. Please do subscribe and click the like buttons, make some comments, and I hope to see you next time.